Microsoft Windows has been around for quite a long time. The first version of Microsoft Windows was released in 1985. Windows 1.0 was very simple and didn't do much more than offer a graphic file browser for MS-DOS. I was too lazy to find any pictures of Windows 2.0, so instead we'll skip directly to Windows 3.1. In Windows 3.1, everything was executed from a program manager. At this point, the taskbar did not exist. In Windows 3.1, a minimized application is represented as an icon on the bottom of the desktop. Windows 3.1 also offered various features for customizing the colors and desktop. Yet another feature offered by Windows 3.1 is support for TCP/IP networking. Okay, this is the best feature of Windows 3.1, hands down. Windows 95 was the first major redesign of Windows, as it featured a fully 32-bit interface. There were two packages of Windows 95, one with a CD, the other with 11 floppy disks. This was released because at the time, not all computers had CD drives. Windows 95 featured the desktop as the main screen, and also introduced the taskbar. For the first time, Windows 95 introduced Windows Explorer and the Start menu. Windows 95 also introduced what would become a beloved Windows feature for many years to come, the blue screen of death. Windows 98 had much of the same interface as Windows 95, but with vast improvements and upgrades. For one, it allowed you to create multiple user accounts and to set a password for added security. Windows 98 also introduced Active Desktop, which basically gave you the option of integrating your desktop with certain web pages. Windows 2000 introduced many new networking features and was aimed mainly toward businesses and commercial settings. Windows 2000 was not intended as a replacement for Windows 98 and was not intended for household use. In Windows 2000, many applications were embedded with each other, like Internet Explorer and Windows Explorer, or Windows Media Player and Windows Explorer. Windows Millennium, or ME for short, was a redesigned version of Windows 2000, mainly aimed toward home users. It introduced System Go Back, which was the ability to restore your hard drive to a previous state. Windows ME did have many media capabilities, although just about all of these could be downloaded from Microsoft's website and run on Windows 98. System Go Back's pretty much the only redeeming quality of Windows ME, but even so, Windows ME sucked. Windows XP, the operating system we all know and love. Okay, let me get this straight. Windows XP was awesome. It was awesome when it first came out, and it's still awesome now. Windows XP had everything. It had good media capabilities, a nice user-friendly interface, it looked cool. Windows XP Service Pack 2 introduced Windows Defender, which basically made Windows much more secure. At first there were only two editions, XP Home and XP Professional, but a few years later Microsoft released Windows XP Media Center Edition. I think I can say without a doubt that Windows XP was the best operating system ever designed. But of course, it just wouldn't be Windows without the blue screen of death. Windows Vista is the newest Windows operating system. There are 5 editions of Windows Vista: Basic, Premium, Business, Enterprise, and Ultimate. One of the cool features of Windows Vista is automatic file indexing, which makes it much faster and easier to find a file you're looking for. In Windows XP, it could take 10 minutes or more to find a file, depending on the speed of your computer. In Windows Vista, it only takes a few seconds. One of the features in Windows Vista is Windows Aero. This gives Windows a glassy, transparent effect, along with adding fancy screen transition effects. Windows Aero is only available in Vista Premium, Enterprise, and Ultimate. Unfortunately, it takes lots of system resources, so you need a pretty fast computer to run it well. In Windows Vista Ultimate, the blue screen of death features high-definition graphics in order to help create a more realistic and enjoyable gaming environment. So what's next for Microsoft Windows? Microsoft is currently developing Windows 7.0, which will replace Windows Vista. Microsoft has been keeping very quiet about exactly what Windows 7.0 will be like. Even most of Microsoft's staff aren't involved in this project. But according to Bill Gates, Windows 7.0 will feature a user interface like no other. What exactly does this mean? I guess we won't know until spring of 2010, when Windows 7 is scheduled to come out. Perhaps the interface for Windows 7 will be virtual reality, rather than simply using a keyboard and looking at a desktop. We won't really know until it comes out.